I lost my wife not because our love faded, but because she chose her family over our marriage. We built everything from nothing, saving every single dollar for 5 years. Then one night her family demanded our savings for a crypto scheme. Amanda stood with them, not me. I said one word: understood. What I did next, she never saw coming. That single decision changed both our lives forever. And honestly, I would not take it back. Before I tell you how everything fell apart, let me know where you are watching from in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe, because this story about choosing loyalty will make you question everything you thought you knew about marriage. Now let me take you back to where it all started. I met Amanda 5 years ago at a small coffee shop in Portland, Oregon. She was sitting by the window, laptop open, completely focused on spreadsheets. I noticed her because she had this quiet intensity about her, the kind that made you want to know what she was thinking. I ordered my coffee, worked up the nerve, and asked if the seat across from her was taken. She looked up, smiled, and said no. That smile changed everything. Amanda worked as an accountant for a mid-size firm downtown. She was careful, detail-oriented, the type who triple-checked everything. I was a junior software engineer at a startup making decent money but nothing spectacular. We started dating, and within 2 years we were married in a simple ceremony at a small venue overlooking the Columbia River. No fancy decorations, just close friends and family. We wanted to save money for what really mattered: our future. From day one we had the same vision: buy a house within 5 years, start a family, build something solid. We rented a 1-bedroom apartment in a quiet neighborhood, cooked meals at home instead of eating out, skipped expensive vacations. Every Friday night, we would cook together, trying new recipes we found online. Weekends meant long walks through Forest Park, talking about our plans, our dreams. We opened a joint savings account and watched it grow month by month. After 3 years of disciplined saving, we had $65,000. It felt like a fortune to us. But there was always something lurking in the background: her family. Amanda's parents, Frank and Linda, lived about 30 miles outside the city, in a modest house they had owned for 20 years. Her older brother, Kyle, 32 years old, still lived with them. Frank had retired early from his job at a manufacturing plant and spent most of his time watching financial news channels, convinced he could beat the market. Linda was a homemaker who defended Kyle no matter what he did. And Kyle, he was perpetually unemployed, always chasing the next get-rich-quick scheme, always convinced his big break was just around the corner. I tried to like them. I really did. But from the beginning, something felt off. They were distant, polite, but never warm. Frank barely made eye contact when we talked. Linda smiled, but it never reached her eyes. Kyle treated me like I was invisible unless he needed something. The first red flag came about a year before everything fell apart. Kyle called Amanda one evening saying he had an incredible opportunity but needed $2,000 to get started. Some online course that promised to teach him how to flip cars for profit. Amanda looked at me with those pleading eyes and I caved. I transferred the money the next day. Kyle promised to pay me back within 3 months. He never did. Whenever we saw him at family gatherings, he would avoid me, suddenly needing to help his mom in the kitchen or check something in the garage. When I finally asked Amanda about it, she got defensive. "He is going through a tough time," she said. "Let us not make it awkward." I swallowed my frustration. I did not want to create problems in our marriage over $2,000. But deep down, I started resenting how her family seemed to always need something from us, and Amanda always said yes. Still, life moved forward. We kept saving. Our account grew to $78,000. We started looking at houses, meeting with real estate agents, imagining which bedroom would be the nursery. Amanda would get so excited talking about paint colors and furniture arrangements. Those moments made me forget about Kyle, about the money he never repaid, about the uneasy feeling I got whenever we visited her parents. I thought the family issue was just a minor bump in an otherwise smooth road. I had no idea the storm was already forming on the horizon, and when it hit, it would tear everything apart. 2 weeks after we put in an offer on a beautiful 3-bedroom house in Beaverton, Amanda got a call from Kyle. It was a Wednesday evening. I was in the living room watching a documentary when her phone rang. She looked at the screen, excused herself, and went into the bedroom. Through the closed door, I could hear her voice low and urgent. I caught words like crypto opportunity and 50,000. When she came out 20 minutes later, her face was flushed. I asked what was going on. Nothing, she said too quickly. Kyle just wanted to talk about some investment thing. I reminded her that our savings were for the house, not for her brother's schemes. She nodded, but would not meet my eyes. That should have been my second warning. That weekend, Amanda suggested we go to her parents' house for dinner. This was unusual. Normally, I had to convince her to visit them. But she insisted, saying her mom really wanted to see us. Something in her tone made me uneasy, but I agreed. When we arrived Saturday evening, the whole family was already gathered in the living room. Frank sat in his recliner, Kyle on the couch, Linda standing by the fireplace. The atmosphere felt rehearsed, like they had been waiting for us. Amanda sat down next to Kyle. I took the chair across from Frank, feeling like I was walking into an ambush. Frank cleared his throat. "Christian," he said, "we wanted to talk to you about an investment opportunity." My stomach dropped. Kyle leaned forward, excitement lighting up his face. He started explaining how his buddy, some guy who apparently worked in finance, had insider information about a cryptocurrency that was about to explode. This was not just any crypto, Kyle insisted. This was going to go up 10 times, maybe 20 times within 3 months. But they needed to act fast. They needed $50,000 immediately to get in before the price jumped. Linda chimed in, her voice sweet but firm. "This is a chance for the whole family to change our lives," she said. Frank nodded. "I know you and Amanda are saving for a house," he said. "But if this investment pays off the way Kyle's friend says it will, you could buy a much bigger house. Maybe even pay cash." I felt the walls closing in. I kept my voice calm and polite. "I appreciate you thinking of us," I said. "But that money is for our house. We cannot risk it on something this speculative." Kyle's face turned red. "You are always like this," he snapped. "Too cautious. Too scared to take risks. That is why you will always be stuck in the same place." I ignored him and looked at Frank. "With all due respect," I said, "crypto is incredibly volatile. There is no such thing as a sure thing." Frank waved his hand dismissively. "My friend knows what he is talking about," Kyle interrupted. "He has made millions doing this." I wanted to point out that if his friend was so successful, why did Kyle still live in his parents' basement, but I bit my tongue. Linda walked over and put her hand on Amanda's shoulder. "Amanda, honey, talk to him. This is family." Amanda had been silent the whole time, staring at her hands. Now everyone was looking at her, waiting. I turned to her too, expecting her to back me up, to tell them this was our decision, and we had already decided. But she said nothing. She just sat there, tears forming in her eyes. My heart started pounding. "Amanda," I said softly, "we should go." She shook her head slightly. "Just hear them out," she whispered. That was the moment I felt the ground shift beneath me. Frank kept pushing. "If this does not work out, I will personally repay you from my retirement account," he promised. Kyle added, "You do not trust me. You think my own family would scam me." Linda squeezed Amanda's hand. "Sweetheart, you know we have never asked you for anything. But this is different. This could change everything for all of us." I stood up. "I need some air," I said. "I will wait in the car." I looked at Amanda, silently begging her to come with me to choose us over this insanity. She would not look at me. "I will be out in a minute," she said quietly. But she did not move. I walked out alone, my hands shaking. I sat in our car in the driveway for 45 minutes. Through the window, I could see them all talking to Amanda, surrounding her. I felt sick. Finally, she came out. Her eyes were red from crying. She got in the car, and we drove home in complete silence. When we got to our apartment, she finally spoke. "They really believe in this," she said. "My family is hurting financially. Dad mortgaged the house to borrow $20,000. They just need 50 more to have enough." I almost crashed the car. "He mortgaged the house without even telling us." She looked away. "He knew you would say no." That night, I barely slept. Amanda was on her phone, constantly texting her mom and Kyle. Over the next few days, she grew distant. She would watch YouTube videos about cryptocurrency, read articles about people who got rich quick. I tried to talk to her about how dangerous this was, but she would not listen. Every conversation ended with her defending her family and me feeling like the bad guy for wanting to protect our future. 2 weeks later, on a Thursday night, Amanda sat across from me at our small dining table. I knew immediately that something had shifted. She had that determined look, the one she got when she had made up her mind about something. "Christian," she said, "I need to talk to you seriously." My heart was already racing. "Her family really needs this money," she continued. "Dad already mortgaged the house for $20,000. If we do not help with the other 50, and this investment falls through, they could lose everything." I could not believe what I was hearing. "So the solution is for us to lose everything instead?" I asked. She started crying. "If we do not help them, and they lose the house, I will never forgive myself." I leaned back, trying to process this. "And if we do help them, and they lose the money, then what?" "We lose our house. Our future." She wiped her eyes. "Kyle says it is a sure thing. His friend is certain." I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Kyle. The same Kyle who borrowed $2,000 from us and never paid it back. The same Kyle who has never held a job for more than 6 months. Amanda's face hardened. "You always look down on my family." I shook my head. "I am being realistic. They are asking us to gamble our entire future on a cryptocurrency tip from some guy we have never even met." She stood up abruptly. "I need you to give me $50,000. This is not a demand. I am asking you, begging you." The desperation in her voice broke my heart, but I could not give in to this madness. "What if I say no?" I asked quietly. She looked at me with an expression I had never seen before. "Then I will have to rethink this marriage." The words hit me like a physical blow. "You are threatening to divorce me, to force me to give your family our savings." She shook her head. "I am saying I cannot be with someone who will not support my family when they need it most." I felt like I was in a nightmare. This was not the woman I married. That woman would never choose a scam over our life together. "If I agree to this," I asked slowly, "are you absolutely certain they will pay us back?" She nodded quickly. "Dad promised. He swore on everything." I looked at her. Like Kyle promised to repay $2,000. She flinched but recovered. "This is different. This is Dad. I need your answer tonight." "They are waiting." Something in the way she said that last part made me suspicious. "Where are they waiting?" I asked. She hesitated. "In their car. In the parking lot downstairs." I walked to the window and looked down. Sure enough, Frank's old sedan was parked below, all 3 of them sitting inside, staring up at our building. They had planned this entire ambush. They were down there right now waiting for Amanda to come down with good news. I turned back to her. "You have already decided, have not you? You have already chosen them." She was crying openly now. "I just want to help my family." I felt something inside me break. By destroying ours. I sat down at the table and pulled out my phone. I opened our banking app and stared at the number $78,000. 3 years of sacrifice, of skipping vacations, of eating ramen so we could save every penny. Amanda sat next to me and grabbed my hand. "I know you love me," she whispered. "I do love you," I said. "But you do not love me enough to protect me." She looked confused. "I love you, but they are my family." "And what am I?" I asked. She had no answer. I stood up and looked at my wife, really looked at her. In that moment, I saw clearly who she was and who she would always be. Someone who would choose her dysfunctional family over her husband, over our dreams, over everything we built together. I said one word. "Understood." She burst into tears and threw her arms around me. Thank you so much. I love you." I did not hug her back. "Tell them to go home," I said flatly. "I will transfer the money tomorrow." She kissed my cheek and ran downstairs. I watched from the window as she reached their car. They all got out and hugged her. Kyle slapped her on the back. Linda was crying happy tears. Frank shook his head like he had just won the lottery. When Amanda came back upstairs, I was sitting at my desk. She was glowing with relief. "You should get some sleep," she said. I know you are tired. I have some work to finish. I replied without looking at her. She kissed the top of my head and went to bed. The moment I heard her breathing slow into sleep, I opened my laptop. I did not open the banking app. Instead, I Googled divorce lawyers in Portland, Oregon. I scrolled through reviews until I found one named Jacob Morrison. I knew him peripherally through my company. He had handled a colleague's divorce last year. It was 11 at night, but I called anyway. To my surprise, he answered. I quickly explained the situation, speaking quietly so Amanda would not hear. When I finished, there was a long pause. Are you sure about this? Christian Jacob asked. This is a massive decision. I have never been more sure of anything in my life, I told him. She made her choice. I am just respecting it. What about the money in the joint account, he asked. I will transfer my half out first thing tomorrow, I said. I put in $39,000. She put in $39,000. She can do whatever she wants with her half. Jacob was quiet for a moment. All right. Come to my office tomorrow morning. We will start the paperwork. I thanked him and hung up. I logged into our bank account and initiated a transfer. $39,000 moved from our joint account into my personal savings account. I left her $39,000 untouched. Then I sent an email to my boss requesting 2 days off for a personal emergency. I spent the rest of the night gathering documents. Our marriage certificate, tax returns, bank statements. Everything Jacob would need. When the sun came up, I had not slept at all. Amanda woke around 7, still happy. She came into the kitchen where I was drinking coffee. Did you transfer the money yet? She asked cheerfully. I transferred your half, I said. $39,000. You can do whatever you want with it. She froze. My half. What about your half? My half stays with me, I replied calmly. Her face went white. But they need $50,000. They need it, I said. Not we. And you chose them. So use your money. She started to panic. But you said you would help. No, I said. I said understood. I understood that you chose your family over me. Over us. Over everything we built. I stood up and grabbed my jacket. Before I walked out, I handed her an envelope. Inside were divorce papers. Her hands shook as she opened it. What is this? She whispered. I am making sure you can live with your choice, I told her. You chose your family. So go be with them. I am choosing myself. She screamed. You are joking. This is not funny. I have never been more serious in my life, I said. You picked them. Now you get to have them. All of them. The debt, the drama, the dysfunction. That is your family. I am done. But you said you love me, she cried. I do love you, I replied. But I love myself more than I love being used. You and your family see me as an ATM, not as a partner. Not as family. She collapsed into a chair, sobbing. You cannot do this to me. I can, I said. And I am. I will have my things out by next week. You can stay in the apartment. I will pay rent through the end of the lease. Then you are on your own. I walked to the door and paused. By the way, you should tell your dad that most of these crypto opportunities are scams. I closed the door behind me, leaving her crying at the kitchen table. I moved in with my best friend Marcus for 2 weeks, while I sorted everything out. He lived in a small 2-bedroom condo in northwest Portland and told me I could stay as long as I needed. I threw myself into work, hit the gym every morning, and met with Jacob twice a week to finalize the divorce paperwork. Amanda called constantly, dozens of times a day. She left voicemails begging me to reconsider, saying she was sorry that she made a mistake. But notably, she never once said she would refuse her family's demands. She never said she chose me. She only wanted me to give her another chance, while still expecting me to fund her family's delusions. I did not answer a single call. Through a mutual friend, I heard that Amanda had borrowed money from 3 different people, adding to her $39,000, and given the full amount to her family. They invested it all in the cryptocurrency Kyle's friend had recommended. I felt nothing but pity. 2 months later, I was at Marcus's place when I got a text from an old coworker who knew Amanda's family. The message said, "Did you hear about that crypto thing? Total scam. Everyone lost everything." I looked it up online. The cryptocurrency had collapsed completely. It turned out to be a pump and dump scheme. Thousands of people lost their savings. Kyle's friend had disappeared. A week after that, I heard through the grapevine that Frank had to sell the house to pay back the mortgage. The family was moving into a small rental apartment. Kyle was being hounded by the people Amanda had borrowed from demanding their money back. He had gone into hiding, dodging calls, and living with a friend across town. Amanda was drowning in debt, working extra hours to pay back what she owed. She called me one final time. I answered. "Christian, please," she sobbed. "I need help. I have nothing left." I kept my voice even. "You made your choice, Amanda. You have to live with it." "But they lost everything," she cried. "I know," I said, "and that is terrible. But it is not my problem anymore. You chose them. Now you deal with the consequences." She begged for money, for help, for anything. I told her no, and hung up. The divorce was finalized 3 months after I filed. I did not ask for anything beyond my original $39,000. I did not want her debt, her drama, or any piece of the life we had planned together. I just wanted out. I moved to Seattle a month later. I had gotten a job offer from a tech company there, with a salary 40% higher than what I was making in Portland. I bought a small one-bedroom condo with a view of Puget Sound. It was not the 3-bedroom house Amanda and I had dreamed about, but it was mine, paid for with money I earned, and saved untouched by her family's greed. I made new friends through work and a hiking group I joined. I started going to therapy to process everything that had happened. My therapist helped me understand that I had not failed Amanda. She had failed me, and more importantly, she had failed herself by never learning to set boundaries with her family. Slowly, I started to heal. I went on dates, though. I was cautious. I was not ready to jump into anything serious. But I was no longer angry. I was not bitter. I was just free. Free from the weight of her family's dysfunction. Free from being seen as a wallet instead of a partner. Free to build a life on my own terms. Looking back now, I understand that love is not enough. Love without loyalty is just a word. Amanda loved me, I believe that. But she loved her family's approval more. She loved avoiding conflict with them more. She loved the fantasy of saving them more than she loved the reality of building a future with me. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. When they choose someone else over you, do not beg them to reconsider. Let them live with that choice, and you live with yours. My choice was self-respect. My choice was refusing to be used. My choice was walking away from someone who saw me as a solution to her family's problems, instead of a partner in life. Some people will say, I should have tried harder, that I gave up too easily. But I did not give up. I chose me. And that is not selfish. That is survival. You cannot build a life with someone who will sacrifice you the moment their family demands it. You cannot trust someone who sees your boundaries as obstacles instead of necessities. I do not hate Amanda. I hope she learned something from all of this. I hope she finally sees that enabling her family's terrible decisions does not help them. It just drags everyone down. But that is her journey now, not mine. As for me, I am building something new, something solid, something that cannot be taken away by someone else's bad choices. I have my peace. I have my self-respect, and I have a future that belongs to me alone. Sometimes, the greatest act of love is loving yourself enough to walk away. And I have never regretted that decision. Not for a single moment. So let me ask you, have you ever had to choose between loyalty to someone you love and protecting yourself? How did you handle it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story made you think about the importance of boundaries and self-respect, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more real stories about life's hardest decisions. And share this with someone who needs to hear that choosing yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that you deserve someone who chooses you every single time. Take care of yourselves out there, and remember your peace is worth protecting.